You think skipping breakfast is a productivity hack. You are wrong. For most of you, it's a socially acceptable way to starve a body that is already in stress mode. I'm not saying fasting is bad. If your health is optimized, it can be a superpower. It clears the mind, improves focus, and helps you with calorie deficit. But for the stressed business owner, fasting is not fixing your energy. It is doubling your stress, killing your testosterone and making you fat. In this video, I'm going to show you how I decide whether my 6 to 9 figure entrepreneur clients get to do intermittent fasting or not. Showing examples where fasting saved a client health and others that destroyed client hormones. Let's start with the first principle. Fasting is an amplifier, not a fix. Fasting does not create health. It amplifies what is already there. What I mean by this is most entrepreneurs that I see are starting doing fasting while sleeping 5 to 6 hours, not having a proper nutrition, and just trying to do intermittent fasting just because they saw it's healthy or improves focus or just improves health. That is wrong. If you are calm and healthy, yeah, fasting amplifies focus and fasting is healthy for you. But if you are stressed and tired, fasting amplifies stress. Because when you are in a fasting mode, your body will be in emergency mode, primarily if you are stressed and tired. So when you don't have any food inside your body will start decreasing even more cortisol levels to start using, for example, muscle as energy, to start using other things as energy to be in a survival mode. And that is what makes you tired and even more stressed and even more tired, and you think that intermittent fasting is not working. And most of you are already redlining, already neglecting health, and just don't give a fuck about health. And fasting just breaks the engine. Like fasting in those conditions will just make it worse. The second principle about fasting is the fake fast delusion. Most of you aren't even fasting. You think that skipping breakfast is like drinking only oatmeal lattes or BCAAs or even green powders in the morning. The problem with this is that oatmeal, especially oatmeal, is only full of sugars. There's no nutrients in there, only sugar. BCAAs will activate also your digestive system, and green powders, some of them have sugar as well, not only nutrients but has sugar, can have fats and even proteins, so you are breaking the fasts with this. So when I talk about fast and intermittent fasting is anything. It's like there's no food inside your body. You won't drink or eat anything, just water or coffee that I will talk later in this video. This skips insulin, as I talked about, and the fast is over. Because when you introduce these foods inside your body starts producing insulin, increasing blood sugar, and you just break the fast. Now you are just in a state of low-calorie starvation. And this is super dangerous because when you think you are doing intermittent fasting but drinking oatmeal lattes and green powders, because of these foods are full of sugar, you are in a low-calorie starvation, you will increase and spike your insulin levels and blood sugar levels because you didn't get any macros that will support insulin and blood sugar regulation, such as protein and healthy fats and fiber as well. And because of that, you will spike those things and you will get the morning crash, the afternoon crash, and just lose the focus that you want to get. And then you also will get all the stress and none of the benefits. The third principle about fasting is the cortisol trap. Now I have here some client that it's in Portuguese, but I will translate to you. Basically, this client was stressed and he was skipping breakfast to grind. And why he was stressed? We can see in his blood work, cortisol levels were in a high range. The normal range is around 3.7 to 19, and this client had 15 in the morning. So his cortisol in the morning was already high. Is the stress levels. So when he was doing intermittent fasting in the morning, he was increasing even more the cortisol levels. And that's why in the blood work he has these high cortisol levels. And this will impair your recovery in sleep, will also impair your energy production, your focus, productivity, etc. Not only that, this client had an SHBG of around 53, and the normal ranges is around 13 to 71. SHBG is a stress-induced hormone that will essentially lock down free testosterone, and we can confirm that this client had tons of stress, because if we then go to free testosterone, this is free testosterone. His free testosterone, despite being in young age, his 20s, had 19.8, and the normal ranges is around 19 to 51. But for his age, he should be in around 30 to 50. So 19 is super low. And this confirms again that this client was super stressed. His body thought he was dying because wasn't get any food, so it would raise more cortisol. And cortisol will steal testosterone, free testosterone, as I showed now. And he felt weak, anxious, had no drive, and fasting was the enemy here. Not only fasting, other health problems that this client had, but fasting was one of them, and we needed to fix this. And you see in this client example that fasting was not a solution for this client. Fasting was not a tool to improve productivity, to improve performance, to improve focus, none of that. Fasting was killing these client hormones, and that is what you need to analyze for your own health. You need to see if actually intermittent fasting will help you or kill you. The fourth principle about intermittent fasting is the insulin fix. Although we had the client that fasting was killing him, we have here another client health data that fasting was saving him. Is the opposite. This client was different. He carried belly fat and felt sleepy after eating. For him, food was putting him to sleep, because he was increasing insulin and blood sugar, and then he was more prone to afternoon crashes, more prone to insulin sensitivity and insulin resistance. And fasting saved him. It lowered his insulin so he could finally burn fat. As we can see in his blood work, insulin was in mid ranges, so normal ranges, but HOMA-IR was in the upper range, 2.18, and it should be below 1.5. So it's already too high. And again, HOMA beta is the same. It's above limit, and this should be below 100. This represents that this client had a prone to insulin resistance. So using intermittent fasting to teach the body to know how to regulate insulin, to know how to regulate blood sugar, and to learn how to function without food. This client was so used to eating and eating all the hours that his body was so used to the food that it didn't know how to regulate without it, didn't know how to function without it. So his insulin resistance was always up, always in the limit. And using intermittent fasting in this situation is super helpful. So context here really matters. Context really matters. And this is why I preach blood work medical tests to all my clients, because you can then analyze your current situation and see exactly if something can work for you or not. If you want a done for you analysis where I go through all your health situation, your health problems, and then create the specific health plan just for you. You can book a call with me, first link in the description, and apply for my one-to-one. Let's continue. The next one is the food noise destroyer. If you fast, but you spend 3 hours thinking about lunch, you are not productive. And this is what I got with some clients. They thought about starting intermittent fasting, but when they do, they always think about food. So they won't be deeply working in their business. They will just thinking about food all the time, so they couldn't work effectively. And that is wrong, of course. That is food noise. It wastes brain power, wastes energy. And for this, a high protein breakfast shuts off the noise. So for this specific situation, if that is you, you should, instead of doing intermittent fasting, you should implement high protein meals in breakfast. For example, eggs with avocado and some fiber. All these foods will regulate insulin resistance, blood sugar, and will make you have a stabilized energy. So I would rather you eat and work than starve and get distracted. So if that is you, you should implement a high protein breakfast that shuts off the noise. Around 40 to 60 grams of protein is ideal, and then with plus fiber and plus also some fats. The next one is your gut is confused. Some of you fast, then break with a massive sandwich or pasta or just carbs. Your gut is weak. You bloat instantly and then you get post-lunch coma. And this is dangerous because if you don't know exactly how your digestive system works, the bacteria that you have and the foods that you need to ingest to get the best performance, you are doing this wrong. It's not the timing that you eat, it's the fuel that you get, the fuel source. And you need proteins and fats, not heat and sugar. And I have here an example of a client that he was eating a lot of pasta, a lot of sandwiches, a lot of bread, and he was getting digestive problems and bloating in the afternoon. And when we did the gut health tests, when he enrolled in our program, we could see that he had gluten sensitivity. So he was sensitive to gluten. And this is why he couldn't digest the gluten that he was eating from bread, pasta, pastry, all that stuff. And was getting a bad performance, was getting bloating, was getting digestive problems, all of that. So it was impairing his focus and energy during the day. So I recommend you to get a gut health test as well, because this will essentially analyze all your microbiome and tells you what foods you need to eat, what foods you are sensitive to, intolerances, all that stuff. The second one is caffeine is a tool, not breakfast. Some of you are doing intermittent fasting, but drinking tons of caffeine and coffee during it. Yeah, caffeine, you can drink caffeine or coffee while in intermittent fasting, but you shouldn't just rely on that to get focus and energy, because your body will get used to that drug. Drinking black coffee on an empty stomach when you are stressed is dangerous. Again, because coffee will increase your cortisol levels. So if you already are stressed and you can't work without coffee, you are addicted as well. So coffee is more dangerous than good in those situations. It spikes adrenaline and you feel wired, not focused. When you rely on caffeine just to focus, you are not getting energy or focus, you are just getting adrenaline that you think it is energy, but it's not. So the rule that I have to all my clients is wait 90 minutes before drinking your first coffee. And while doing that, hydrate yourself. Drink at least half a liter before drinking your first coffee and you are good to go. And don't rely on coffee. I have a video specifically about coffee, you can watch it in the next. So don't overuse coffee in these situations. And don't use coffee to hide the fact that you are tired. Again, this relates to the health foundations. If your sleep quality is bad, you don't have proper nutrition, you are sedentary, all that stuff will impair your recovery and energy, so using caffeine to mask those problems won't work. Next one is earn the right to fast. This is essential because fasting is an advanced move, is not a beginner move. If you sleep 5 hours, do not fast. Again, fix the sleep first. 8 to 9 hours consistently with a consistent sleep schedule, and do this for a month, 2 months. If you don't walk 8 to 10,000 steps, do not fast. You need to get your zone through cardio, you need to be active to improve your cardiovascular system, to be able to produce enough energy and be in a healthy state. Fix the foundations: sleep, movement, food quality, training, all that stuff first. And then you can try skipping a meal. You can try intermittent fasting. But first you need to do all this stuff before trying intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting won't fix anything, we just amplify, as I talked early in this video. Next is the actually protocol for the specific situations that you are in. Option A, you have high cortisol and stress, so I won't recommend you to do fasting. I will recommend to get high protein and a fat breakfast. For example, steak or eggs, if you would like to eat steaks in breakfast, but you can also do eggs and avocado with oats, you name it. You just need to combine high protein and fat with some fiber as well, if you can. And this will stabilize mood, will stabilize energy and focus. Option B, high insulin and fat. If you are overweight, you have a more tendency to get afternoon crashes and morning crashes and insulin and blood sugar spikes. You will fast until 12 p.m. and this will help you burn fat, will help you with insulin sensitivity, insulin resistance and blood sugar regulation. And option C is never do this, never just eat oatmeal or toasts in the morning without any protein or healthy fats, because these will make you crash by 11 a.m. Never, never, never do this. Neither drinking like milk or lattes, none of that. So the conclusion is test, don't guess. Don't copy what influencers do. Look at your blood, as we saw in these clients' health data and bloods, and look at your stress, your cortisol levels, SHBG, all those stress markers. If you are tired and wired, eat breakfast and fix the health foundations. If you are heavy and sluggish, try fasting. But let the data decide what you really need. Let your health and genetics decide what you really need. And after you analyze all of that, you can see if fasting actually helps you or not. Again, if you need a more personalized help, you can apply to my one-to-one, first link in the description. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe for more.